Welcome to BeatzNEatz. I'm Chef Nette, and tonight we are making salmon croquettes. That's right, salmon croquettes. You can say croquettes, croquet, croquet, salmon croquet. And we have our salmon here. I'm using a can of salmon tonight to make our salmon croquettes, and just make sure it's wild caught. And that's pretty much the only ingredient outside of water in the can. We use canned salmon. I also have white onion. I have garlic clove, 2 garlic cloves here, some garlic powder because I love garlic. I mean, who doesn't love garlic? I have some Old Bay seasoning that I'm going to season the salmon with, and just a little seasoned salt. And then we're going to saute our vegetables first, our onions and our garlic first, and then we're going to dump all that in there and get that mixture with the seasoned salt and the Old Bay in there, and then we're going to add 2 eggs to bind it up. We're going to put it in the pan and fry it up and serve it over some delicious polenta grits. And the difference between regular grits and polenta is grits come from white corn. Polenta comes from yellow corn. It's a little bit chewy. That's why I really enjoy it with salmon croquet, and it pairs really nicely. So you ready to cook? Let's cook. Gonna get our pan going, get it nice and hot. This recipe here, it is absolutely simple, and I really want to keep my ingredients simple tonight and show you how easy it is to make this dish and how quick and efficient it is to make it. To get our pan hot, I'm using grapeseed oil. I really love grapeseed oil because it's really clean. You can use almond oil, avocado oil, whatever kind of oil you want to use. It's up to you. Get my pan going here. Like I said, I'm going to start with sauteing my white onions and garlic to start out. Then I'm going to add everything in a bowl, mix it up, make those patties, toss them in there, and be ready to taste. So this is a really delicious recipe. You can pair it with, like I say, I'm doing polenta grits, yellow grits, if you will. You can pair it with rice, or you could put it over some linguine, some pasta. You could do it however you feel. Quinoa, you can do any grain with it, or just do it plain with a potato or some mashed potatoes. It's your croquette. Do what you want. This is nice and warm here. So I'm just going to go ahead and add in onions, my 2 eggs, my garlic powder, my fresh garlic, my Old Bay, and my seasoned salt, and my wild caught salmon. If I didn't tell you before, now you know. I'm going to add the onions in. And this is probably, you can do about 1/4 cup, a 1/2 cup, depending on how much onion you like. But I really just like to get my onion cooked and add it into the salmon mixture. Add my fresh garlic here. This is 2 cloves of garlic that I use. Running around. And let this brown, or let it get to the nice texture for the onions. But the goal is, once I add it to my salmon, I want them already on the softer side, so I can just go ahead and mix everything together. Or if you just want to, you can just add your onions straight to your salmon and then cook it in the patty. And I really like when you cook white onions, how they create like a glaze. If you really want to get fancy, you could add some white wine to this. Just really get it going with the glaze. So that's what we're looking at right now. One tried to jump out the pan. Y'all see that? So that just cooked right up. And so one thing I really love about the salmon croquet is a salmon in particular is rich in protein. So in this particular case, this can probably has like 2 servings in it. So I probably get 4 patties out of this. And it has 17 grams of protein in it. I always want to make sure you get your protein. And it also has, you know, salmon is known to be that fatty fish and get your omega-3 fatty acids, which is really good for your hair, your skin, your brain. And I always try to make sure that whenever I use fresh garlic, to make sure my garlic does not burn. Because one, you don't want it all in your house. Let's turn this down, because I have it all in my house. And 2, burnt garlic is really not a good taste. So it's really starting to get a nice little cook on it. See it there. So now I'm going to take this and you can add like really whatever type of vegetable you want. If you want to add a bell pepper, a diced bell pepper, you can do that. Some shallots, if you want to do that, if you like a bolder onion flavor. You do a sweet onion, a white onion. I use the white onion because it gives more of that onion pop that I like when I eat salmon croquet. So at this point, I'm just going to go ahead, and looks like it's ready. I'm just going to dump it in to my salmon bowl and get that mixture ready. And so once I create my patties, I'm going to add it right back to this pan. So I'm not going to clean it, I'm just going to keep it the way it is, add more oil to it. So now we're going to get a mix going here. So mix all this up. And I'm going to mix this up before I add my egg, because I don't want my egg to start scrambling because the onions are hot. And I can actually go ahead and season it with some garlic powder. So that's about 2 big pinch. If you notice on BeatzNEatz, I don't tell you like a teaspoon of this and a tablespoon of that, because, you know, it's, just watch me, watch what I do. Seasoned salt, big pinch. May do 2, okay? This is our seafood seasoning. This is Old Bay, and Old Bay has salt in it, so I'm gonna be a little cautious to make sure I don't get too much sodium in there. So that should do the trick. And I still want to have that seafood taste to it. And then last but not least, I have my mixture. Everything is in. It smells great already. Oh my gosh. What did I say? Smell-o-vision. And so now I'm going to add in my 2 eggs. I found a shell. Don't want the shell in there. Just get in there and mix that thing right on up. And I've done salmon before where I have not made the croquet, but just take this mix and just put it in the pan and just scramble it up. You can do that as well over rice. It's so amazing. Oh my gosh, that's a meal in itself. You can take these patties and make burgers, biscuits, a salmon croquet biscuit. Just imagine what that would be like. Or a bagel, like all these things across my mind as I'm thinking about these wonderful salmon croquets. Croquet. Croquet. I like my chef's jacket. I really want to be official tonight and just come out and make these salmon croquets. This is how upscale I feel when I eat them and when I make them. So we have our mixture going. Everything is blended. And some recipes that do salmon croquet, they call for breadcrumbs. I don't use breadcrumbs. I don't see them as necessary, but if you like that more of a cakey, flaky texture to your croquet, what do I say? By all means, add it in. So I think we're ready to go with this one. Our mixture is good. And here we are. And I always try to flatten it down at the bottom of my container, whatever I'm mixing in my mixing bowl. So that way, when I go to, make my patties, I got an equal distribution of, I can draw a line and say, okay, this is how many I want to do. And I have an equal distribution of patty ratio. Turn my pan back on. So next I'm just gonna make the patties, and I need some gloves because it's a dirty job. Somebody's gotta do it. I need my gloves. I have my gloves. So I'm going to add some more oil to my pan because we really want to get that crunch, that coating on our salmon. You can do this in a cast iron skillet. In this case, I got my nonstick pan here. So I'm just going to take a quarter. You say, you remember how I sectioned it off? I sectioned it off in quarters. So that way I can just go in, grab that amount. Make sure I got everything, not leaving anything behind. Just make you a little ball. Make you a little ball. And there we have it. A patty. Our patty. So I'm just going to go ahead and let that run around it. Do my next one. Crank that up a bit. This is so much fun. I'm always talking about, getting your kids in the kitchen. This is something that they really could do. You just have to come in and make sure that you cut, the onions and dice the onions up. Or whatever vegetable that you're using. And just let them go at it. Just let them feel it and make them some patties. Down our last two here. And it's so much fun. It's so therapeutic. Cooking is so at least to me it is. And also, along with the proteins and omega 3 fatty acids, you got your vitamin D, you've got your calcium. It's great if you're pescatarian. Maybe a bigger one here. And save that one for myself. It's cooking nice. And as a kid, I remember my aunt, I love her so much. She is my favorite chef. I mentioned her in my book, After the Nest, the culinary edition. And she would make these salmon croquettes. And I'd be like, Auntie, what is that? And she'd tell me. And then I was like, I didn't appreciate them when I was a kid because I was like, I don't want it. It's in a shell. And that is the name. The French is croquette. And it means in English to crunch. So I didn't want the crunchy one. But now I appreciate the crunchy element to this salmon. So my first one looks like it's ready to flip. Oh my gosh. Check out that. Check it out. Check it out. He said we can't check it out because we can't see it. And then with it having that egg in it, it starts to puff up and rise. So once I get all of these done, flip these over. And like I said, we're gonna pair this with over some polenta, some yellow corn grits, if you will. And we're gonna layer that bowl, we're gonna layer the polenta, we're gonna put the salmon croquette on top, and we're gonna layer the eats over the beets. And speaking of beets, it's beats and eats, you know how we do. Tonight's beat is giving basement strobe light vibes, like a slow pulsing symphony, if you will. You guys, whew. I love making beats. I love music. I love cooking and I love making music. Let's check in. That beat make me almost want to try to tear up my own. Made me forget about my croquettes. My croquettes. But they are coming out beautifully. This one right here is just, I'm so impressed. Let's move these around, and the aroma is so nice. Crank this up just a little bit, just to get a little tap on it. Now we're cooking. Go ahead and flip. Oh, they are gorgeous. It's like I can't cook this fast enough because I want that polenta. I'm gonna put some smoked Gouda over the polenta and some butter. Oh, and place these crab cakes on it. Doesn't that sound so amazing? Croquettes, from the French, croquer, meaning to crunch. Give a little more time for this one. I'm gonna bring that center. Take this one off. I think it's ready to go. Oh my gosh. Check it out. Or just check that out. A little more time on that one. My bigger one is taking a little more time. That's why I said try to make sure you evenly distribute out, or you'll have one that's bigger that may take a little bit longer to cook, but it's okay. And I also like using wild caught canned salmon because, you know, if you got the fresh salmon, you got to grind it and cut it and make sure all those bones are out. Whereas in canned salmon, those bones are softer. So if you get one in there, it's okay. Coming along fine. And I always talk about, you know, I talk about the kids creating meals, but also like if you have a date night or you have a romantic evening and you want to cook for your partner, this is something that they will appreciate. Because it's breakfast, it can be dinner, it can be lunch. It's very flexible in what you want to do with it. And I always enjoy having breakfast for dinner. One of my favorite things to do. So if you want to know the way to my heart, fix me breakfast for dinner. Fix me breakfast for dinner. And you got me. Well, you got to do some other stuff too, but that one's looking pretty good. I think I'm going to go ahead and take this one off. A little more oil on these guys. It smells so good, so good. Check on this side once again. Yep. Yep. Take a look at how pretty that is. Just imagine this on a sandwich or a burger with some nice remoulade sauce to it. This is right up there with crab cakes if you ask me. It's just my opinion. Like I said, this is on a thicker side, so it's going to take a little more time. I can see it starting to rise up and get that cook on it. That's what we're looking for. If you want a really crunchy firm, you can't add flour, you can't add breadcrumbs to it, or just, you know, toast you some bread and chop it up really fine and just drop it in a mix. Same thing. If you go to the store and buy your breadcrumbs. So I'm just going to put a tap of heat on it. And we should be good to go. Run it around in that oil, bring it to center. And once we get this done, we're going to layer it up. And I've really been thinking about these polenta grits. Oh my gosh. And the cheese and the butter and the... Can't you taste it? Can't you taste it through your screen? Mm-mm. Yep. We are done, and here is the finish. Well, close to being finished product. Gotta layer it up. You ready to plate? So we're back, and our salmon croquet and polenta bowl is ready to taste, and it's a work of art. It's so beautiful. It's perfection. Perfection. I'm going to bring it to you guys. I'm trying not to, just want you to get a close-up of what we are about to experience. And I say we because I try to taste and give you the experience of what I'm experiencing, but you can only experience it if you cook it yourself and actually enjoy this whole thing. Get ready. All right, got my knife here. I got all my utensils, knife, my fork, my spoon, because I got these cheesy polenta with the butter and the salt and the pepper and to make it pretty with the, okay, enough talk, let's taste. Oh, and I can hear the crunch when I cut into it and how tender it is on the inside. Oh my gosh. I'm not gonna cut that piece yet. And I have me some smoked Gouda in here. You can use whatever cheese you like. Use Mexican cheese would be really great. Or some smoked provolone. Or you can even do feta. Okay, here we go. Have me some cheese, got my polenta. It's a really big bite. Let me get my eating stance ready. Love at first bite. Forget sight. Yeah, we eat with our eyes, but you guys, the creaminess of this polenta, the yellow corn grits, and this amazing flavor in this croquette. Oh my gosh. The onions bring the flavor out. I can taste that seafood seasoning. And the polenta is just cooked just perfectly. Woo! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell in your ear. Wow. Oh my gosh. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, it doesn't matter. This is where it is. My auntie would be so proud. I'm gonna, and with these, yeah. Enjoy some beets.